So now we're doing binomial common factors. So in certain circumstances, the greatest common factor may be a binomial rather than a monomial. The particular type of factoring the process is doing these trinomials into two binomials. We'll kind of get into that in a later lesson. But for right now, we just want to talk about what they have in common. And so it's kind of weird, but it says factor the following polynomials by removing the greatest common factor. I know it looks weird, but what do these have in common? Two what?
They're binomials.
X plus 7. They both have an X plus 7. That's a package, right? It's a binomial. So what happens is I can pull that out. So if I pull an X plus 7 out, what's left inside? 4X minus 3. Okay, let me say it one more time. They both have an X plus 7 here. So let's get the X plus 7s. Okay, so we pull those out to here. We push the 4x and the minus 3 together. Okay, push the 4x and the minus 3 together. Any questions with that? We okay over there with the light, or?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so this one, what do they have in common? 3 minus 2y. So we're going to pull the 3 minus 2y out. What's left? 7 plus 2y. All right, and on C, what do they have in common, Xander? 4a plus 1. And then Brandon, what's going to be left? Okay, close. Because they're still out there at 1, so 9a plus 1, okay? That is pretty important, though, so that's, hopefully now we got it. Because if I didn't put anything here, then I would just multiply 9a times these two. But if I have the 1 here, the 4a plus 1 hits both of them, right? So we need that because we have two 4a plus 1s. Okay, good. Okay, factor the following and write the answer in simplest factored form. Okay, so then A, Josie, what would we factor it down to there? What do they have in common? Okay, 3y plus 2 times 5y plus 1 plus 4y. Yeah. It's just all together. You can, yep. So, is that what you said, Jose? No, you don't multiply them, you add them. So it'd be 5 plus 4 would be 9y. Okay, so let's talk about that one more time. So, if I pull these out, Mike, if I pull these out, okay, what's left is, when you take that out, what's left, there's a 1, which isn't anything, right? And now what's left is, I have 5y plus 1 plus 4y. So just like I have written here, 5y plus 1 plus 4y. And now I can combine my like terms of 5 and 4 and make it 9y. Okay, is there questions on that? All right. Okay, B. So, Chris. Okay. Good. So they have an a minus 6 in common. That's pulled out to its own. 3a minus 9 gets pushed together. Good. Taylor, C. Okay, good. Except x minus 5. Okay, so what we have to do is these aren't the same right now. That's okay. So they're opposite. They're opposite. So when thinking opposite, what can I do to 5 minus x to make it what we want? What can I, like, what's that? Yeah. What did you say? No, that wouldn't make it opposite. Times it by a negative 1. Okay? So what I'm going to do is, we're going to actually take out a negative 1. So it's going to be like this. 2x times x minus 5. If I take out a negative 1, what's 5 times negative 1? Negative 5. And then it becomes the opposite. It turns it. Okay? You can write it negative 5 plus x if you want. But negative 5 plus x is the same thing. as x minus 5. These are the same thing. So again, what I did was I took out a negative, okay, which made that 5 a negative 5 now, and switched my signs to the inside. So now they're the same. So now we can do our put them together. Yes. Yeah. Well, I would say I took out a negative 1. Like I pulled a negative 1 out. Because you don't want to say you times it by it, because whatever you do to one thing, you have to do to what? To everything. But I'm pulling a negative 1 from here. I'm taking that out. So all that does is just changes this positive to a negative now. So I don't have to do it to everything. Go ahead, Jose. It's fine. It hits the 5. Oh, you mean this one? Yeah, it hits it. It hits it because I just want you to think we're dividing it out and not multiplying it in. Essentially, but even though doing that's the same thing. Okay, how about this? All right. That's what you call in teaching I was a fail. Okay, so I'm going to divide by negative 1 to both things here and to this 5. And so, it's okay, I'll finish it. So 2x times x minus 5. 5 divided by negative 1 is a negative 5. 5 divided by negative 1 is a negative 5. Negative over negative is a positive. These two things are now the same. That's why I wrote that here. Okay, so I'm just going to push it together. I have 2x minus 5 times x minus 5. That's my factor. And I will be honest with you, in terms of factoring, doing that, it's good that you know how to do that, but it doesn't come up a lot when we're factoring. Okay, so then the same thing here. So let's do that same practice here. So, Greasy, so what do I want to do now? They're the opposite, so we want to do? Right, we want to pull it out, right, make it a positive, exactly. So I'm going to divide everything by negative 1. Okay, so it's going to be 20x times x minus 3 plus 4 times x minus 3. I like to flip it because I know it's going to be the same. That's what we did it for. So again, I pulled a negative out here to make these the same. Now you can only do this, it only works when they're complete opposite. I have a positive x, they have a negative x. I have a negative 3, they have a positive 3. Okay, if they were not complete opposite, then you wouldn't work. You keep messing things up. It wouldn't work out. Okay, all right. So then this pushed together would be good. 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 Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this. All right. So then moving on here. So now this kind of gets us into factoring by grouping, which is kind of what you're already doing, but it just kind of gets us kind of a segue into it here. So sometimes polynomials will have 4 terms, can be factored by removing the greatest common factor of 2 pairs. So you're going to have 4 terms, you're going to pair them, and you're going to GCF each pair. That's called factoring by grouping. So this is what I mean. You're going to group them, so that's the grouping aspect, and you're going to think of them individually, and you're going to factor them individually. So what does x squared and 3x have in common? X, good. So that's going to be an x here. That's now x plus 3. Do we understand that? I pulled an x out. Very good. Okay, and then what does 6x and 18 have in common? 6 gives me x plus 3. Now look, this is a step. We're doing steps. We can do what with the x plus 3s? Combine them, like pull them out. And then we're left with x plus 6. So we just factored that down.
Holy crap.
Hey! Voila! What's that?
No wizard replaced the wizard.
Thank you.
You know you have a wizard in your class? In Math10?
Oh, really?
It's right there.
Who, Connor? Stole it? No?
Right there. The far right. Right there.
Oh, Zach? Yeah, I've seen him on the table tennis. He's a wizard. He's good at ping pong. Okay, so this one here. So group it. So I'm grouping here. I'm grouping here. So, Allie, what does 8x squared and negative 2x have in common? And what number? 2. So 2x. That gives me a 4x. That's a 4 there. Minus 1. Okay, Tatum, what does 12x and minus 3 have in common? 3. Good, so that gives me 3, 4x minus 1. Now my 4x minus 1's matched again, so I'm going to push those together to make 1, or pull them out, and I get 2x plus 3 here. Okay, are we good, or am I losing anybody yet? A little bit? Okay, well, what's the little bit? What did I do? Okay, all right. I'll try to slow down, I'm sorry. Okay, all right, so Alex, now I'm going to group again. Now here's important, there's a minus this time, so it's a minus to us, okay? And I'll talk about that in a second. It's very important for grouping. People mess up on that in Math 20. But let's talk about the first one first. So Alex, what do I got to pull out for the first set? 4a. Good, so I'm pulling out 4a. That gives me 2a minus 1. Okay, now it's negative 10a plus 5. Now that's what I'm going to tell you. Every time you have a negative in front, you're going to pull a negative out. Do you guys hear me? Whenever you have a negative in front, you're going to pull a negative out. So instead of just a 5, I'm going to pull out a negative 5. Are we okay with that?
Yep.
So that's going to make me have a negative 5 came out. And then what's negative 10 divided by negative 5? Positive 2. 5 divided by negative 5. Negative 1. You see they got back to matching.
Yes.
Okay, so then that gives me 2a minus 1 times 4a minus 5. All right, well, let's see if you learned that piece here. So we are to Janae. So Janae, what can I pull out the first group there? I'm on D, sorry. Uh-huh. 3a, good. So I pull a 3a out. That gives me 2a minus 3. Okay, here you go, Mike. Let's see if you learned from the last one. What can I pull out?